What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. Now, I hope you guys are ready for today because we are jumping into some X-Men, and we are going to be starting that off with Marauders issue number 25. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with the Marauders, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on in this line. Now, in the last issue, we saw Eden Rixlow, and he is the previous owner of the ship known as Mercury, a spaceship that Emma Frost at some point acquired. But with Eden catching up to them, trying to get his ship back, we see the mutants offer him up a hefty bounty to go about his day and not worry about this ship. But what we see is him betraying them. By opening up the airlock, we see the entirety of the Marauders jettisoned out into space. And so with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we're diving into this issue, we are seeing the Marauders ejected into the void of space. Now, for any regular human beings, the story would be done and over with in this instant. But these are no ordinary mortals, because these are mutants. These are people of Krakoa. This is the Marauders. Now, with Iceman getting jettisoned into space, he did not flinch. The frigid void of space does not affect him even in the slightest. Not only that, he has absolutely no need for any oxygen. And so within seconds of them being thrown overboard, we see Iceman jump into action and he creates a giant snowball, if you will, in space. A snowball that is hollowed out, protecting them. And then we see him grab onto this ice cube, grab onto this cocoon of ice, and he spins it as fast as he can. In doing this, this creates some kind of artificial gravity. And with that, all of the Marauders, they begin to wake up. Now, Iceman, he was able to get some kind of oxygen inside of here. The oxygen that was out in space, he was able to gather as much of it as he could before it all closed out. The only issue is this oxygen is not going to last very long. Luckily for them, both Iceman and Emma Frost, in their ice and diamond forms, they don't need any oxygen. But oxygen is not the only concern that they are having. And that is because right now they are freezing. At least most of them. And Pyro suggests that he might start a fire, but the only issue with that is when you burn fire, you're also burning up oxygen. But Kate Pryde has an idea. And using a little bit of ice, using a little bit of fire, we see some water form. And Kate Pryde, she takes us back to science class, reminding us that when you put electricity through water, you can create oxygen. And so as long as they are creating some kind of oxygen, they can also create some kind of heat. And so they're solving their heat problem, they're solving their oxygen problem. Now they have to figure out how they're gonna get out of space. And we see both Bishop and Shaw, they start hitting one another, building up that kinetic energy, getting ready to use it for whatever the plan dictates. And as they all sit around and discuss what they're gonna do, it really seems like the idea is Kate Pryde is going to be jettisoned to the ship, the one that Eden stole from them. With Emma Frost being able to sense it within their vicinity, they start formulating the plan. And the plan is for Bishop and Shaw to build up this kinetic energy. Bishop is going to take that energy and is going to blast them. This will give them that nice little push they need towards the ship Mercury. This will get them within the vicinity, will build up that inertia so that Kate Pryde can shoot herself out of this ice cube and into that ship. Now we see Iceman cordon off one section of this ice cube, keeping everybody protected except for Shaw and Bishop. Because what they have to do is use this kinetic energy blast and blast open one of these sides. And in doing so, it's going to expose them to the elements. They're going to lose oxygen, it's going to become extremely cold, so on and so forth. And with Eden being completely unaware, believing them all to be dead, we see Bishop unleash his power. And with this power being unleashed, we see them go hurling towards the ship. With Iceman sealing up the breach, it is now time for Kate Pryde to do her thing. And with the help of Emma Frost, we see Kate Pryde, she jumps out of this cocoon ice ball and goes flying through space. With all of this inertia propelling her forward, with Emma Frost making it a dead shot, we see Kate Pryde make her way into the ship. Now at this point, Eden is completely unaware that anybody else is there. And Kate Pryde, she's able to get through the ship. She ends up going through a couple floors, couple layers of the ship, reaching the bottom of it. And this leaves her with a bloody nose and a bruised eye. Now, obviously, she's not happy about this. Obviously, she's very ticked off now, and she's ready to go get some vengeance. And so as we see her phase through the floor, coming up behind Eden, letting him know that she was trained by a ninja. And it's not something that she usually goes around telling people unless she's about to get in a fight with a guy, hoping that it deters them from wanting to fight her. But that's not the case. Eden is not going to back down. He's not going to stop in the slightest. And we see the fight break out between the two. Honestly, if you can even really call it a fight, because Kate Pryde had this from the moment she landed on this ship. And we see the two of them fight, with Kate Pryde just beating the crap out of him. They go phasing through the floor, they end up on the hull of the ship, but the guy is a fighter. Kate Pryde gives it up. Like, this guy is not giving up. And Emma Frost lets her know that if you're able to take off his side blocker, we can end this a lot more quickly. With Emma Frost blocking out Kate Pryde's pain receptors, Kate Pryde can just let loose and not feel a single punch that she is hit with. And we see Eden, he draws out a knife, and going in trying to cut her. He misses because she fades through him, pulls off this machine on his head, this more or less headband that is keeping Emma Frost out of his mind. As soon as that is lifted off, Emma Frost takes complete control. Now, as this is all said and done, Kate Pryde is now feeling all of the pain from that fight, with Emma Frost no longer able to block the pain receptors because it is taking everything, or a good amount of her in her, to control the ship and Eden at the same time. She's not also able to block out those pain receptors for her. And now she is highly regretting giving Eden that headbutt. But with our team getting on board, with us picking up this cocoon of ice, Bishop lets us know that he is going to be starting a war college. And this is something that he wants to teach inside of that college, because tactics like this is going to help mutant kind survive. No matter the odds, no matter what happens, even if it means being ejected into the void of space, you still have a chance. Now, with everybody on board, the question is, what do we do with Eden? Now, the old Emma Frost would have gutted this guy right here, left him out in space, and called it a day. But this new Emma Frost, this new political ice queen that we have, she's going to take a different route. She's going to take a more diplomatic route. And this is where we show up on Mars. We show up on Araco, and that is where they're going to be leaving him. Not only that, they are going to let him keep the Mysterium that he has. And Emma Frost is hoping that this concludes their business, with him getting his payment and them now having the ship. And Emma Frost tells him that our business is done here, but if you really want to be foolish enough to take on all of us with another go, then we will be more than ready to do so. But reminds him that next time, she will not stop Kate from killing her. Now, Eden, he recognizes that he's been beat. He recognizes that he lost that fight, but he goes on the record saying that there is no way she could have won that fight if it were a fair fight. And Emma Frost reminds him that anytime you're going against the Marauders, it is never going to be a fair fight. Now, the last page of this issue, it's part of the memos that they do throughout every single issue. And the memo here is Bishop talking about his war college and how he wants to start training mutant kind. Because unless you're X-Force, unless you're the Marauders, unless you're the X-Men, you're not out there actively training, getting ready to take something on. And so a lot of Krakoans, they're sitting back, being lazy, not training, not using their abilities, not learning how to synchronize them with everybody else. And this is something that Bishop wants to change. He wants every single mutant on Krakoa to be able to come to the defense of Krakoa when the time may call. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Personally, I absolutely love this issue. I thought it was tons of fun. It was an absolute brilliant way for the Marauders to be able to come out of this. Now, I know a lot of people after the last issue were like, there's no way, no way Iceman could die out in space. He would be able to be just fine. And obviously, that's exactly the case. They did that just for dramatic effect, just to make sure that you pick up this next issue and find out what happens to the Marauders. But the reality is, there is never any real danger for these guys. They are so fully equipped with everybody they have on their team, with such a unique group of individuals. They are dang near unstoppable. The artwork was absolutely amazing. The writing, as always, was freaking top-notch. I wish there were more X-Men lines because we would be covering X-Men all the time. It's one of the biggest viewerships when it comes to my videos, and I do thoroughly enjoy doing the X-Men more than anything else because Hickman's era of X-Men has just been absolutely phenomenal comic book writing. Almost every single line that X-Men has currently coming out have just been so phenomenal. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. And until the next breakdown.